What's up, guys? Welcome back, Amazing RC. As you can see, we got one heck of an update. I have my eye on his big brother. They have an AXIAL SCX6 out right now. It's about 80% bigger than the SCX10 and I tell you, I'd really like to have my hands on one of those. $1,100, and that's before tax tag and title. I'm still gonna have my hands on one of those very, very soon, and here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna have to make a couple changes in here. I do not have the cash, but I do have the equity. So here's what we're gonna do. As you can see, we've got our D12 sitting in front of us, and no worries there. This one's hanging out. First, I'll tell you exactly what we're gonna do with this truck. Some of you may remember 3 months ago when I last spoke about the D12, we had gotten all kinds of little cool stuff to make this almost what you see now. It's kind of cool little race truck. We got really nice aluminum wheels here. We swapped out for 12mm hexes. That's already installed. As you can see, we've got our body kit here already installed. It's not what it's going to look like when we're done though. Got carbon fiber. Some of you know, big fan of carbon fiber. This is going to be a fresh carbon fiber lip going around the existing body kit here. So we're going to fashion that. Before we get into all of that, I'm going to tear the whole truck down. I want to make it run a little bit better and get it out of the stock D12 transmitter here. We're going to go ahead and throw it on our radio link transmitter. I'm still rocking my old V1 radio link. I mean, this thing's just great. So I like to keep as many, if not all, my cars on that. Got a fresh receiver here. We're going to go ahead and tear this thing apart. We're going to swap out the receiver, swap out the little ESC for this little chipset here. That's going to allow us to get into our receiver. Go ahead and get our little 2-cell LiPo. Get this thing running real good. Another thing we're going to do, not that it needs it, to be quite honest with you. This is not a C34. I've had nothing but problems with my C34 as far as the axles and drivetrain goes. This is not the C34. Now, as you can see, it does share the rear axle here, but I got this really cool set of titanium rear axles. Now, this is just the rear, because as you can see, it's not the same front. So go ahead and swap our titanium rear axle out. I've got some real nice metal drive shafts to go in there. It's just one drive shaft, so shouldn't be that big a deal. But got some really good upgrades going on in here. Then we're going to go ahead and get this whole entire thing painted. I'm going to stick with the same paint scheme we talked about months ago. I want to do slate gray, dark gray, light gray, a little bit of silver, and bright yellow. The yellow is going to be just a very, very thin accent line somewhere. Little touch, little here and there. And then like the mirrors, I'm going to do yellow. And yeah, you kind of get the idea. We're going to get this thing all painted up. Super, super sweet. It's not meant to go super fast. It's just meant to go and look pretty. So D12, not only is that staying, I've already started ripping screws out. This is next. So got our D12, like I said, not going anywhere. Speaking of C34, I'm done with it. I mean, I don't know, maybe I put too much into it. If you guys remember, I actually custom made a carbon fiber, chassis in here. It's got a ton of upgrades. It's got the upgraded motor, upgraded metal transmission, upgraded metal bits, axle housings, steering linkage, everything. I mean, there's all kinds of upgraded stuff in here. What it does not have is it does not have a receiver, and it does not have an ESC. That's, I kind of took it out of there. One thing it would have had would be the front end of the titanium axle. It's what I kind of got these axles for, was for this truck here. But it's just a rolling headache for me. If you guys have a C34 and you're jamming out, hey, much love to you. You've got way more patience than I do, because I'm not getting it done. So it's gonna hang out right there. Or, God forbid you want a C34 for parts, let me know and we'll work something out. I'm not expecting you to pay me cash for that. It's gonna cost us $20 just to send it to you. So maybe a little trade or something. If you got your heart set on C34 stuff, and you want a bunch of parts, I mean, like I said, ton of upgraded parts in there. You can rip that thing apart. It's got a carbon fiber chassis, which is really, really nice. Made it myself. Let me know about the C34. Maybe we'll work something out. I do have a few things of equity, like I told you, that I'm going to let go. Go ahead and throw it on Mercari, eBay, some seller app. Got the old Hoons, barely used them. I'm going to throw those on. What else do we got? I got a lot of stuff. Oh, mainly, if you guys remember, I got 2 sets of these because we've got our quote-unquote speed run dual brushless MAX10, blase squad. Well, I've put enough power into this truck to where I just drive it and it just rips itself apart. I literally cannot run this thing with this much power without it just destroying itself. Every single time I put it on the ground, it's starting to get very expensive. And I'm just kind of done. I feel like I'm hurting it. You know what I mean? Now, we're not selling the truck. I worked very hard to get my hands on the OG EMAXX. So, this isn't going anywhere. The wheels aren't going anywhere. The truck's going to stay primarily the way you see it now. But I am going to pull both motors and both ESCs out of it because it's like $325 worth of motors and ESCs. We're going to sell one of them. We're going to keep the other one, and we're going to throw it in the SCX6 here. So this is going to get the power. Right now it's got a Holmes Hobby. I think it's a 55, 58 turn motor. Very nice motor. But you could use more power, right? I mean, why not? So that takes that can out of there. It'll be ready to go in something else. Give this a bit more oomph, if you will. And then this, we still got an idea for this. What we're going to do with our EMAXX, dual brushless EMAXX, we're going to keep it dual brushless. If you guys remember, a few months ago, before we did the dual MAX10, I spent basically an RC crawler's worth of money on 2 motors and 2 ESCs. Before I was an idiot to do this, I did buy 2 cheap, I don't know, Surpass Hobby, Ghoul RC, I don't remember what they were. I've since sold them, and whoever bought those is super, super happy. Really good motors. I think I spent $35 on each motor and ESC, under 70 bucks, and this was a runner. We're going to do exactly that. We're going to get that fixed up, no big deal, and we are going to probably jack it back up where it was, because you guys remember, I had this thing slammed down as low as I could get it while still having a little suspension. So we'll get this thing jacked back up, and then, I don't know if you guys remember, but we were ready to turn it into a Razor. I mean, I've got the top to it. This is an old New Bright Polaris Razor. I mean, it's a New Bright, but the bodies are just ridiculous. I've already got this thing torn down. I got Hank sitting in there half naked, ready to go. But this is going to go on here. We're going to get her jacked way back up, get the real cheap motors and ESCs in there, keep the big goofies on it, and this is going to be a jumper. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. It'll be a lot less oomph and hopefully a lot less broken parts. This thing is just... it needs RPM, A-arms, it needs, I mean, I've got so much stuff into it already. Remember, we ripped the drive shafts out of it. I've got Traxxas all-metal drive shafts. I mean, that was like $135. I got $325 worth of motors and ESCs, and every time I take it out, it just rips itself apart. If you guys remember the last wreck that we had this in, I didn't even do anything. I just went straight, and this wheel just rips right out of the A-arm. And that's not fun. If I jumped it 65 feet in the air and it exploded into a fiery ball, that's fun. Rolling it down and just punching it and hoping that it stays on the concrete and it just rips itself apart, not fun. Sure, it makes for a good video, spits the camera off into the distance, and caught me a few hundred views. I'm okay with that. I'm just not okay with fixing it every single time without some spectacular accident. So, we're going to take a little bit of power out of it, jack her back up, throw the Polaris Razor on it, and I think we're going to have a really cool vehicle. Other than that, as I was saying before, word of the day is SCX6. Guys, I love my SCX10 and I love my SCX24. I mean, I want badly to have the big brother. And it's just not going to happen without letting some of this stuff go. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. If you guys have any crazy ideas about what we can be doing to these vehicles, let me know in the comment section below. I really appreciate all you guys stopping by every time that you do. If you wanna get your hands on all these parts here for the C34, like I said, let me know. Maybe we'll work something out. To all of you that wanted to see the EMAXX do 100 miles an hour, maybe someday when we're YouTube rich and we can just start chucking a bunch of money that, you know, we never had to really make. All we do is make videos. Then maybe at that time. But for now, I think we're going to move a few of these parts around, kind of take the channel into a remotely same direction, but a little skewed, and we'll kind of see where things go from there. Guys, I've got a ton of work to do. This D12 will have a brand new video for you within the next 48 hours or so. We're gonna get her torn down and running. We're gonna start spraying some color at it. Until then, it's Brian, this amazing RC. Get you guys another really cool video very, very soon.